Hi, I'm Eric Sabo, and today we're going to change the struts on the front of this Venture van here. Now, it's the 24th of December, and you might think, wow, it's really freezing in that garage, and why is that guy going to do that today? But I have an answer for that.
150,000 BTU kerosene-powered salamander heater.
I had to shut that thing off. We need some specialty tools here. A screwdriver. $18mm wrench. A really long 15mm wrench to get to the top nuts on the top of the strut. 21mm deep impact socket. It's called a quick strut. Okay, first thing we have to do is jack up the van. Three-quarter-inch socket. You gotta put the jack stand under there for safety. Part of the problem with working on vehicles these days is half the stuff is metric and half the stuff is standard US thread. Fortunately, the lug nuts on this van are just standard 3/4 inch. And I have the stuff. Forward and reverse. Okay, so it's a moment of truth with the 21mm socket. Jackpot. There is a God in heaven. I knew this was going to happen. Part of the reason I hate doing these jobs, I gotta glue my fingernails on for the guitar. They always come off. James Taylor's got a whole video on how he does his fingernails, and he puts like fiberglass tape and then layers it and does all. I just go down and get those kits with the fingernails. You just glue them on. So now we got to take off the 3 nuts on the top part of the strut, and there they are in there. That's why I had to buy this special 15mm wrench. So that I could get the nut all the way in the back. Okay, I got all 3 nuts off. Took about 45 minutes because the nuts are the crimped variety. That's how it has to be so that they don't come off. Over the life of the vehicle, this vehicle's got 190,000 miles on it. Okay, the really crazy thing here is that these 2 bolts, the head on the other side is 18mm, but they're not hex head bolts. They're just 2 flats. So that means you can't put the impact tool on there and unscrew them. So you gotta pound them through, and generally they use a lead hammer, but all I got is this 3-pound guinea hammer. They call it a guinea hammer. It's a 3-pound sledge. All the stone workers are Italians, and they use these things, so that's why they always call it a guinea hammer. They don't want to go. Well, they went. I had to turn the recording off because, well, there was probably going to be a lot of swearing. I got the last one here. And there it is. See, if I just replaced the strut here, I would have had to compress the spring and then take it apart. And, well, there's a special tool for that. And I didn't have that, so I spent a little more money and got the whole assembly. Hopefully it'll go in. A couple things of interest here. I had a 6-ton jack kicking around, so I figured I'd get that under there because I didn't know what was going to happen when I dropped the strut. And these bolts here, you see they're knurled. So I wouldn't have been able to turn that even if it had a hex on it. They're pressed in, so that's going to be a bit of a problem. Put them back in. Catch the nuts on the top. Okay, we got the mother of all screwdrivers in here to line this up. We'll get our bolt. Okay, there's one. You can kind of feel where the splines are. I'm not going to pound them in. I want to bugger up the threads. Feels pretty good. I'm going to pull the bolts in so that the splines are all the way in. Now I got to tighten up the 3 nuts on the top and be good to go. They don't call them quick struts for nothing. Well, I got the 3 nuts all tightened on the top. It's all good to go. All we need to do is put the tire back on. Just gotta let the van down, be good to go. Look at that. Put this thing in reverse, 3/4. Okay, that's one side. 3 hours and 22 minutes. I think I'll do the other side tomorrow. Well, it's December 25th and it's day 2 of the strut replacement operation here. I decided to do it in 2 days because it took me 3.5 hours to do it yesterday and just got one done. But now that I know how to do the job, it's going to go a lot faster. And I got a tool here. It's a ratcheting 13mm wrench to do those 3 nuts on top of the strut, which really took me 45 minutes to get off and 45 minutes to put back on because they're crimp nuts and they were hard all the way on and off. So it's going to go a lot faster today. Make sure you got the 3/4 on there. Put it in reverse. .21mm. guinea hammer. You know, I could never figure out why they call Italians guineas. You know, it's like hunkies, Hungarians, Polacks, Polish people. The ratcheting wrench really saved a lot of time. Without it, you have to turn the wrench over every time. And I had to rig up a special way to operate it. Well, you're not going to believe this. The other day, I was driving down, and I heard this clunk. And then I was driving along, and all of a sudden I heard this bang, pop, boom, and saw pieces flying. And I'm going, holy cow, pieces are flying off the van. Well, I discovered what it was. No sway bar link. Turns out my daughter had the same problem, clunking noise whenever she turned, and I discovered it was a sway bar link, was gone. So I went to Advance, this was like last year, and I bought 2 of them. But she only needed 1. And I didn't return the spare link for credit. Jackpot. Now the really funny thing about these sway bar parts, you buy them and they give you all these pieces parts and they don't actually have any directions on how to put them together. But that's part of being a car mechanic, I guess. Basically it's something like that. I'm missing the other blue piece here, rolled under the van naturally. Okay, so there's the new unit installed in what we can only assume is the correct order. Trust me, it's good. I looked at the other side. Crazy thing is, it's all 9/16. Well, the strut's in there, all the bolts are tightened. Don't forget to change the socket to 3/4. Forward. You know what I really hate about these things? Get this little nub thing that sticks out. It's a triangular thing. And it's like PSI on 2 sides of the triangle and the other side's kilograms. And no matter what you do, you always wind up looking at the kilograms thing. You know, this job was not half as much fun as it looked like. Well, Merry Christmas.